Alrighty, welcome. Good morning, guys. How's everyone doing? Today, we are at the lovely Lake Berryessa, and if you guys saw in previous videos, man, we've been getting a lot of rain out here in Northern California. I mean, last couple of videos at Folsom just got dumped on, but the one good thing about that is, with all this rain, that means the lakes are rising, and Lake Berryessa is no exception. I think actually right now, and this doesn't happen too often, but I think the lake is full pool and is actually just about to go over the spillway, or what they call the glory hole here. So kind of cool. Just getting here, looking at the lake. I have never seen the lake this high before. It's actually kind of a trip. But with that said, one thing that I personally like with this rain is rising water tends to do better fishing wise for me. Dropping water, not so much. I feel like when the water drops, a lot of those fish that would be shallow maybe go off the bank, go suspend out deep, somewhere like that. But when the water rises, there is a good chance that the fish may move up shallow, kind of root around, check things out, and they're just a lot more catchable. So that's the theory today. That's the hope. That's the idea. And I figured to start this video off and give you guys a quick tour. I've done this before, but this is definitely an updated tour of what I've got rigged up on the TitanX 12.5. Now that, of course, we have the trailer. I said this when we got the trailer. One of the things that I needed the trailer for was this particular boat. And really, when I had this before and was throwing it in the bed of my truck and sometimes carting it down to the ramp, I had to be really mindful about what I put in the boat. You didn't want too much weight in there. Now that we have a trailer and that's not an issue, I can load this up to the gills. So say what I'm going to do just to get this quickly started, give you guys a quick run through of how we have this set up as of today to make this a little bit better viewing experience. I'm going to throw on the chesty right here, give you guys a first person point of view. We'll set you up on the box behind me, which is nice. There's very few things on this kayak right now that I actually have to assemble when I get to the water. It's really just the motor. I keep my PFD in there, shoes, and then of course the rods in the truck that I set up. But yeah, that was the idea with the trailer too, is having a pretty much ready to go kayak. And here, let's show you guys what we got going on. I'll set you right there. You're functioning. We'll start right here at the bow. We'll actually get right into the hatch. I'm gonna have to hop up here. So got a battery right here powering our two 9-inch Humminbird Helix units, also powering the Mega 360 on the side. Also have that connected to our lights for the motor, early morning light, and then interior lights as well. Inside the hatch, you got this removable bucket right here. I just keep a medical emergency kit and miscellaneous items. I also keep a pump right there too. Keep that pump in there in case of an emergency. I've even given that pump to other anglers on the water before to get water out of their kayaks. But today it's going to be a pretty light day as far as weather and no rain. Beautiful day actually. Moving down, of course, we've got our units. Mega 360 right here on a Railblazer mount, so it can just drop right down. Propel drive, of course. Got our paddle holder right here, the double header. Keep that on the kayak. Actually added another tab right here just for extra security when transporting this. And that's really the thing, is everything on this kayak, you got to remember, like with this trailer, it's going to rattle, it's going to bounce, things are going to jump. So you have to have everything really secured down and be mindful of that when traveling. But yeah, this is actually on the captain's bridge right here, which is nice because it goes into these locking base mounts and you can actually pop this right off. So if I'm like traveling or somewhere that I don't want this to be on the kayak, I can just pop the whole captain's bridge off with the two units and put it in the box and lock that up. Safety wise, it's a good option to have. We've got the foot controlled steering here. Been rocking that, of course, using a motor on the back. One thing I did add, and I can get in here, the drive will normally be down, but I added these little Versa stacks. So the stack right here, I've just kind of got miscellaneous items. I've got, you know, lure knockers. I keep an extra fob in here, extra tournament ID, some Mend It. Got a little box of weights here. Check these bad boys out. These are first gen football drop shot weights, kind of cool. But just some quick access to hooks and stuff like that. Got a multi-tool, Allen key set, markers, just kind of miscellaneous stuff. And the thing I like about this right here, compared to what the Native has stock, which is their underseat drawer, which is really nice. But again, like I said, with the trailer, everything's bouncing around, and with the stock tray, it's open, of course, so things are going to fly out. I like that this Versa stack little dealio has a lockable tray and is enclosed, so to keep all that stuff safe. Those actually come with two of these drawers too. I only use the one because obviously the bottom one would hit this this dude right here when opening it, and there is a way around it. Native has these really handy seat risers that you can buy on their website, and you can actually use those seat risers to lift up the seat, and then the whole Versa stack, both drawers, come out. The only reason I didn't do that is because when the seat goes up, I have a further reach to my handle and my throttle, so I figured this is a really comfortable seat height for me, and the one drawer is really all I need. So we got our throttle on the side, switch panel for lights, interior, exterior. Got my catch board right here mounted on these little cradles, again secured in place. Everything is secured in place. And here we've got the tackle trunk, got all 10 rod holders on the back here, got the GoPro mount on the back. And yeah, this is kind of where I loaded up a lot of stuff. You know, this is again a situation where I normally, previously to having the trailer, wouldn't really load this up too much just to be conscious of the weight. But now I got this packed full of stuff. I did remove the little organizer in there. I mean, it was fine, but it honestly was just taking up space. So I just took that out. Now I can keep multiple planos in here. Before, I'd usually just bring a deep flex box and just throw whatever I needed in there. You know, we got jigs, spinner baits, some blades, some spoons, a couple A-rigs here. But you can see it's kind of got more space and we could put more in there. Really wanted to put additional boxes in here, so here we've got crankbaits, jerk baits, some lipless baits. This is the new Berkeley Dime. We're really excited about throwing this spring. I think this is going to be killer, especially on places like Berryessa and Clear Lake. We got some hard baits in here. We got a little 3600 in here, just keeping some swim baits. Yeah, you can tell I don't throw swim baits a whole lot. And what else we got? A box of terminal right here. So got our first gen jaw dropper, some shaky head stuff, jig heads, ball heads, a couple of weights, nothing crazy, extra hooks. But yeah, just really nice to be able to pack this with as much stuff as I want. That's the drone right there. Got our plastics right here. This is kind of like my miscellaneous bag. Got like my sunglasses case, emergency blanket, gloves, extra line, radio, headlamp. Just again, this is all just random stuff in there. Here we got our snack bag, which pretty much always looks the same. Always got to have the beef jerky in here, that's for sure. And protein bar. Usually I don't ever really eat this ever, but I do keep a couple extra cans of tuna in here just in case I get hungry. And then if I ever bust open the tuna, the Frank's Red Hot is definitely going on there. Don't really bring a whole ton of food with me out on the water during the shorter winter day months that we fish. Got plastics in these little Ziplocs right here, the ones that I feel like I'm going to need throughout the day. And then I actually added this bag just in case. This is all extras. You know, I always feel like when I get on a bite, it's like seems to be the bait that I don't have enough bags of, or the color or whatever. Well, I just added this KVD Plano bag, whatever it's called. Got all my extra plastics in here. Geez, this thing probably holds, I got a lot more space in there, but I bet you this holds like 40 bags of plastics, easy. Just backups right here. Good to have. But yeah, that's pretty much the tackle trunk. Rods. Oh, underneath, actually, I'll go to the other side. We've got, of course, our NK 300 on the back with the foot controlled steering, which is just money. And powering this guy, I actually have, I don't know if you can see it, but right here we've got plugs connecting to two batteries, two 3630 BioEno batteries. They just came out with new batteries this year and they're a lot smaller, so they actually fit perfectly in the 12.5 hatch. Two 3630s. Obviously I got my trunk over them, so I never have to like access the batteries unless I want to just like check them out or whatever. All my plugs are right there for connecting it to the motor. If one dies, I just unplug that purple labeled one and plug it into the other, and then of course we can just charge them in the garage without having to take stuff out. So it's just a nice way to have the wires situated for the batteries. Oh, I forgot, there's a little tool caddy over here, some tools, got some rope. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. That is what we've got so far on the 12.5 after kind of working with this trailer and loading it up and doing a couple of mods here and there for about a month and a half that we've had it. So far so good. I'm digging it, and without further ado, let's launch this guy, get out on the water, spend a day on Berryessa, and see what we can do. Well, let's get her started, guys. I'm gonna start with some moving stuff. Let's try shallow, go shallow to deep. Man, this is crazy. Like the bushes in the water, trees. I mean, it is still 52-degree water temp, so still a very cold winter day. We'll bit of a breeze now. Just kind of curious to see what depth these fish are relating to, if they're really up on that bank or maybe they're still out deep a little. Water's dirtier back here. I'm sure it clears up a little bit if we head out towards the main lake, but not much visibility at all back here. Maybe 10 inches. Man, so many trees and bushes in the water. I gotta get like a flipping setup rigged up. Try it all. This bait might be a player today. This might be a player. A red money badger. This time of year in this water clarity, and if they're up shallow or shallower, this bait could be the bait they wreck today. I hope they do. That'd be fun. Oh, cranky baby. I just had a feeling. You guys are up shallow like you're supposed to be. That's exciting. That is exciting. Man, he's a pale one. There's a pale fish, folks. Man, just cannot beat this bait this time of year. Water's a little dirtier. Water's rising. These fish are rooting around. Thank you, sir. I hate saying it because sometimes I feel like I'm jinxing myself, but I gotta feel like that's a good sign. I mean, that's what they're supposed to do. Okay, there's some stuff down there. Go back to the crank. There we go. Yes! First cast. Okay, that I think that has to mean something. It's a good one too. It's a good one. Nice spot. Ooh, biggin. Biggin. Oh my gosh, that's a tank. That is a tank. Oh yeah. Berkeley money badger. You just can't not have it with you this time of year. Oh, it's a healthy one. Well, we had a little bit of a casting montage deal. I threw it for not too long, but did switch over to the jig and fish some points. But first cast, as soon as we change back to the money badger and get bit, a wind-blown bank just like the other side we caught one on. I think we got a little piece of the puzzle. may not be the most productive thing to get bit on. There could be a handful of things that are better to do right now to catch more and potentially bigger fish, but at least we figured out a way to get bit. Good cast, good cast. Sometimes when it hits a tree or a branch, it feels like you get bumped. That's good though. That's where you want to put this bait, into the junk. Dirtier water, rising water, that's where the fish are gonna set up. They gotta find something hard to sit on, to protect themselves, to ambush from. Shallow wood, trees is a perfect thing to do that on. Should be able to find a ton of it today. I mean, I'm seeing a ton, and you guys can see the stuff sticking out of the water, but the stuff you don't see underwater, there's a lot of it. Oh man, it does feel like a bite every time you hit a branch. It's exciting. You need to hit a branch and have a fish be right by it. Get that reaction bite. This lake is continuing to fill too. Every little creek right in the back, you can hear a little stream of water. Well, that's a pretty good stream right there, dumping into the lake. It's the thing with like the rain here, especially places like this, it's not just the rain it gets on that day. In places it can be the snowmelt, or here up in the mountains or the cliffs, all that water collecting and then pouring down into the lake. It just fills up, and what you hope is that the fish feel that rising water, it gets dirty, and they follow suit. They move on up with it, they root around, check things out, seeing all this new habitat. It's pretty cool. Like I said, much rather have rising water than dropping water, that is for sure. These things are worth their weight in gold. I mean, you're not going to get every snag out, but you're going to get a lot of them. And that is going to save you a lot of baits. Always got to check these guys back here. There's no water flowing from this one, but could be a little dead end spot where some fish creep on up, check things out. It's almost 54 degrees right here too, so a little warmer water. Just never know. It doesn't look like anybody's home here, at least. Always worth a look though. We're kind of venturing further and further into the lake. I'm kind of wondering too if maybe it's the area of the lake deal too, because I haven't gotten a bite in a while, and those first two bites were kind of at the back end of that cove that we launched at, which is historically good at certain times of year. Wondering if there's just more of a population of fish up shallow in the back of the cove compared to more main lake. I don't know. Always kind of keep those things in mind when marking where I'm getting bit, making waypoints. You look at it, like you zoom out and then you look at all your waypoints. Is there a cluster of them in a certain part of the lake that just is very obvious, or are they all spread out in a repetitive form, say on points or humps? Like, are you marking stuff throughout the entirety of the lake that's similar, or is it in a cluster? It's kind of what I feel like I have to distinguish sometimes when I want to maximize my time out here, because if it is a cluster of bites in one particular area, then maybe exploring other water and venturing away from that could be a waste of time. You don't know. Not enough bites yet though today to say though for sure, so we'll keep pushing on. There, yes, okay, that is a fish. I was like, what is going on here? All right, what do you know? We come back to where we got some bites earlier and we get bit. So maybe it is the area. Not a big one, but I will take it. Come on now. Be a bunch of you back here. Yeah, like another bite right there. Oh yes. Oh dude, they're up shallow. They're up shallow back here. Oh, those were at least. What the heck? Okay. Finally, a little excitement. It's later on in the day too, so definitely a better chance for some of these fish to be up a little shallower, right? It's warming up a bit. Shoot, it's 50, actually just hit 55 degrees. I mean, that's surface temp, but still. I've regained hope. Wonder if there's anybody under the stairs. I don't see why not. Stairs, trees, it's all the same. It's all cover. Oh, we're in the back of the cove now. We're crossing over. Definitely tons of bait stacked out in the channel. I'm not going to be fishing out here. I'm going to be fishing up against the bank like we've been catching them, or getting some bites. And there's some flooded bushes and trees back there that will definitely fish. But, you know, this is going to be a spot this time of year for me personally that it's either completely on or it's not. Like, this spot right here isn't, I believe, a spot where they live year round. It's a spot that they'll venture into at certain times a year for whatever reason. Usually in the fall they venture back here, and probably in the spring, but right now I don't know if it's a little too early for them to get all the way back here, but I definitely want to sample it right now, about 3 o'clock, and if we could find some fish back here, I would definitely spend the rest of my day fishing it, especially once we get towards those bushes. Yes, yes, yes. That's good, that's good. That's cool. You guys are back here. Yes, oh, big one. Yeah, that's a fatty. I caught some good ones today. Yeah, they like that money badger. Well, there's a solid one. Guess what, guys? I think I'm gonna be spending the rest of our time back here in the sticks. Whew. Fun, 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 fun. And that's a weird thing too. Like, I mean, I could throw some other stuff like the spinnerbait and the A-rig, and I still might flip some of these bushes, but this is weird, and maybe this is just me, but I found that like when they're biting a crankbait, especially like the money badger this time of year and this water clarity, it's usually the only thing I get bit on. And maybe I'm wrong, you know, maybe it's just because I get bit on it and I throw it all day and then I really don't give any other bait a chance. But I just feel like, I don't know, cold water, dirty water, it's just one of the few baits you can get them to react to and eat. Again, I could be wrong, but it would be interesting to have someone else out here today with me throwing something completely different, seeing if they could get bit. And obviously, the bonus of this bait is you can cover lots of water. I mean, look at this back here. It'd take forever to pick this apart. You couldn't, you really couldn't. Moving bait, covering water, something they'll react to, bite, chase down, whatever. It works. Man, a lot of birds back here diving on bait. It's got to be a good thing. Gotta be more bass. There's fish of some sort over here. Looks like carp though. You can not only see them on the down and the side, you can see the shadows over here. But they look like carp. Well, there we go. smoke. There's a skunk right in front of me too. Ooh, yeah, buddy. Oh, yeah. Man. Another good one. Oh, boy. I don't think I can boat flip this guy. Come here, buddy. And a face full of hooks. Oh, yeah. Cradle in like a little baby. Oh, man. Look at that one. That is a pig. That's a pig. Fatty. Nice meat specimen. That's fun. Thank you, sir. Love the acrobatics. See, maybe some of these are bass. Just like back there, 100 yards behind me, not even those same marks, but couldn't get them to bite. Maybe there's some bass mixed in with a carp. Rising lake, rising water brings everything up shallow. Not just the bass, but bait, bluegill, crawfish, bass, birds. You can see everything follows. It's a cool thing. Right at the boat. That's cool when that happens too. Oh, he came off. Dang it, wasn't a monster, but it was another bite. Yeah, maybe it's picking up right at the end of the day here. There's my buddy, the skunk. A skunk spot. No skunk today, that's for sure. Would have been pretty ironic though if it was a tough day and we saw that skunk. Okay, let's get this heat on. Man, oh man. Well guys, it is just about 5 o'clock. And that is going to do it for our day out on Lake Berryessa. A very full Lake Berryessa. Man, I still can't get over how high this water is. It's just a totally different lake, which is cool. I think it's a good thing. And if it stays this high throughout the spring and this year, I think the bite should be fantastic. But today, a little bit of a gamble. One of those days that I had an idea based on the conditions. And we know how that can go in fishing. It doesn't always go to plan. But I'd say for the most part today, pretty much worked out. Like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, Berryessa, just like a lot of places here in California with the recent storms, rising water, this one in particular at full pool, about to spill over into the glory hole. And to me, rising water, a little bit of a warming trend, potential for some fish to get up shallow. And for me, that's how I like to fish. Winter fishing, we've done a ton of drop shot and dead sticking baits and just all that goofiness. And today I was thinking it was an opportunity to maybe get some shallow fish, power fishing. Launched around 10 o'clock, water temp was around 52 degrees. Pretty stained water, I'd say maybe about a foot of visibility. Not very clean like it normally is here, but that was actually a good thing to me because in combination with the rising water, a little bit of stain, which you'd expect with rising water, I think those factors really give the potential for those fish to move up shallow. And it didn't take long. I mean, we played with a few baits. I had a few in mind that I thought should get bit if they were shallow, like a spinnerbait, A-rig, crankbait, and it just so happened to be the crankbait specifically today, and definitely the winning bait of today, the Berkeley Money Badger in that crawfish color, that red with hints of blue and purple in it. Really good color for this time of year and just this color water. But it's the 7.25, so it's more of a medium diving crankbait. But I do like this crankbait because I feel like I can fish it shallow, anywhere from 4 to 5 foot, and really bang up against branches, rocks, whatever. But I also can get it down into like 8 to 12 foot if I really need to. Yeah, I got a bite on that relatively quickly within maybe the first hour. Thought it was a good sign. Definitely had a little cast montage in between our first and second bite. But second bite was a good bite. Real solid fish, spotted bass. And you could tell by the way these fish were eating the bait. Yeah, they were up shallow. They were rooting around, feeding up. I don't know if they were right up on the bank, but they were definitely in less than 10 foot. Catching that spot gave me a lot of confidence. You never know with one bite on a certain bait. Could be random, but typically when you get 2 bites doing the same thing, that's usually a pattern. Now, as luck would have it, I did go quite a bit after that second fish without a bite. I covered more water. I ventured further out from where we launched, and it just wasn't happening. So with a limited amount of time today, I decided to head back towards where we launched, fished that area just because that's where we had our first couple of bites. Man, I'll tell you what, and like I said, when you get on a shallow power fishing bite, it's kind of hard to leave that. When we came back, I actually had 2 bites right in a row in quick succession, up shallow, up in the dirt. Little largy. Then I think the cast right after that, we hooked into another one. So that was kind of weird, but cool. And the last stop of the day, I guess you could call it, was way back in this cove or this creek arm where there's a lot more flooded trees, bushes, whatever you want to call it. And typically an area that can either have them or is just a desert, just depending. Saw a lot of birds back here. There was definitely some bait back here, so always a good sign. Played around with a bunch of different baits, but really the only bait that I had the most confidence in was that crankbait. So that's what we got our remaining fish of the day on. We did catch one decent largemouth back here relatively quick, and I think with about 30 minutes left in our day, we were just turning around a corner. Actually saw a skunk, ironically, or maybe not so ironically, but saw a skunk, and when we saw that skunk, I think a couple minutes later, got bit. Probably the big fish of the day. Nice fat largemouth. And then I think the cast or 2 right after that got another bite, but that one came off. So I think in total today we had 8 bites, landed 6 of them, doing the exact same thing. Cranking, and more cranking. So yeah, not a bad day. Love getting on some fish this time of year. And I'm excited too, because when the fish are doing this, getting out of winter, it's still cold, definitely. I mean, shoot, it was like 32 degrees first thing this morning. This time of year, fish are definitely starting to transition. They're moving from those deeper parts of the lake and they're starting to move up shallow, feed up. And you know, that just means they're easier to catch. Definitely a positive sign. Spring can't come soon enough, and I know I shouldn't say that, especially for you guys up north. Again, I apologize for that. You guys definitely have it way worse, but I think we're all excited for spring one way or the other. But guys, that is today's video. I gotta get out of here. Got a decent drive home, but as always, I thank you guys for tuning in, coming along on the adventures. Happy to not actually have a skunk today, and I will see you guys in the next one.